Welcome everyone to Unlocking Freedom in Nature today. And today we're here with Dale Young, correct, Dale?
That's right. That's right. Lori's over more north and kind of almost middle type of thing. I'm far west.
And
So,
so, yeah, so it's interesting how storms can hit like that. And Lori's back. Yay! So, Dale, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
yeah, certainly. Let's see, where do I start? I have been a Christian since 98. I have grew up in a non-Christian family, all that sort of stuff. I specialize in coaching Christians now. But the whole God journey has just been amazing. God brought me into coaching out of my IT profession. I was in IT for 40 plus years type of thing. And I just kind of fell into coaching. I think God just kind of opened the door into coaching for me. And I just kind of fell in love with it. And so I've been in transition from 2011 to 2021, getting out of my IT career, getting into the coaching career. And on the last 3 years, I guess now I've been a full-time coach, but I'm also semi-retired. And so got went through a divorce in 2016 that was really did not go through, didn't want to go through it, just put it that way. But God led me through it and met my new bride almost 3 years ago and moved over to the west side of town. I'd been basically in the northeast side of the DFW Metroplex before that. Moved over to the west side, very, very far west Fort Worth. I'm actually outside the city limits of Fort Worth, but still in Fort Worth mailing address. Been a really interesting journey. Once I met Kayla, that I was going to marry her. It was one of those kind of love at first sights. We knew we were right for each other. I did have to go to her church to make sure that I could stand her church because I knew I was not going to be getting her out of her church. When I walked into the church, it felt like home. It was just one of those other God moments that just kind of confirmed it. And then ended up, she was actually living with her daughter 7 miles from the church. And we started looking for a house and found a house 6 miles from the church and 1 mile from her daughter. And God brought it to us. We did not have a realtor on Monday morning. Wednesday afternoon, we had a signed contract on the house. This was in
Oh,
20
wow.
hottest housing market in the country. So God was behind that one. That's a little bit about me.
Awesome. So now you said you worked in ITT before?
Yeah, and computers, technology, all that kind of stuff. Started out doing back in '73. I did everything because you had to back in those days. So I did programming and system admin and everything else. Towards the end, I got more into managing IT people, but my specialty was databases and operating systems. So that was kind of my specialty. When I actually built up a team that did database managed services, and that was a really good thing. That's actually what I'm most proud of. I put that team in place. It was in 2007. We went annual with the contract and sold the contract for over $1 million. Sold that contract for over $1 million, and 15 years later, we still had a contract with that company. So it was like,
Oh,
that was
awesome. So now what led you into coaching?
what led me into coaching. Uh, like I said, it was kind of a God journey. He took me through some experiential based processes. One interesting story is the church where I got baptized in '98 actually shut down in 2002. I went over to another church, and at that other church, I was asked to help lead small groups because I'd been leading a small group at the previous church. In leading those small groups, they were using the curriculum from A Purpose-Driven Life. And so there was a videotape. We'd watch the videotape for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and we'd talk about it. They actually ended up asking me to lead 4 different small groups. So 4 times a week, just to get them started, I was going through watching that videotape, and it was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. So I think there was preparation going there. He prepared me many times, many ways. The managing of the IT people, you got to do a lot of coaching in that. So I was doing coaching even before I knew what coaching was. So
I understand that. Actually, I've met Rick Warren. He actually gave me one of his books for free down there at Saddleback. One of my coaches, she's like, Tammy, you've been coaching for years because for over 38 years, working with youth and, between mentoring and coaching. And I was like, I have. And then it really dawned on me when I went and met one of my students, like even a couple months ago. And she's like, yeah, you were my favorite coach. And and it's like it just like, oh, I was even to her I was a coach, but to me I was never thinking it as a coach,
yeah,
because I was just trying to help people, help them, guide them, give them the ideas, support, encourage, and inspire. So now you wanted to share with us some Iceland images that you and your wife went on, right?
yes,
So I want to hear about that journey. Iceland has always sounded very interesting to go.
yeah. So here's what happened is that when I got married to Kayla, well, actually, before we got married, it was like, okay, what do you like to do? Well, we both like to travel, right? So we started comparing places that we'd been traveling and all that sort of stuff. And one of the things that she came out to with her was that Iceland was always on her bucket list. Okay. And Iceland was one of those places she always wanted to go to. And so with that, it was like, okay, well, I'm up for Iceland. Matter of fact, I've got a list of eyes I want to go to. I want to go to Italy, I want to go to Ireland, I want to go to Israel. And so I just added Iceland to the bucket list. So one of these days we're going to get to those other three eyes. A little other piece of background is Kayla was actually president of the Texas Association of Biology Teachers. And we got married in 2021. And she had been lobbying for these people, this Texas Association. They do a summer trip every year. She had been lobbying for these guys to go to Iceland for like 3 or 4 years at this point. They had never actually chosen Iceland. In 2023, they chose Iceland. We just have to go. Just to kind of set up the stage, Iceland is kind of more towards Europe than to the States, but very much further north, right? And it's a little island. It's significant. It's not like Australia size or anything, but about the same size as United Kingdom. We were going, and I was just I was just overwhelmed by the beauty and the nature. This is one of the pictures. These are some of the vegetation that just kind of grows wild around there. Arctic thyme, fully grown willows and catkins that go up about to waist. The mountain avens is Iceland's national flower, and the woolly willows are less than knee high, fully grown. So it's just kind of interesting how the vegetation works out, right? And then there's the lupine. Like, oh, those look like nice blueberries.
We get the lupine here as well.
So it was all over the place there. So
Yeah, ours is actually blooming right now.
and then of course Iceland has a lot of lava, right? Iceland is mostly volcanic, you
Oh, wow.
know, pretty recent and all that sort of stuff. And of course, being so far north, it's got a lot of ice too, right? So this is what they called a moss-covered lava field. So the lava starts and then the moss moves in and gets a foothold going and all of that sort of stuff.
That's interesting. I've never seen anything quite like that.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
we appreciate this visuals, Dale, for sure. I just wanted to say hello here, and in case I have trouble with the internet again here from beautiful Texas, stormy Texas, and I just wanted to ask you, Dale, with all this amazing experience that you went through, what can you tell us nature did to you, or what kind of
Transformation.
breakthrough
Yeah,
impact did all this beautiful nature do?
yeah. So I'll just put it this way. I have never been that much into biology and knowing the kinds of plants and things like that. But, I married Kayla, right? Kayla is a STEM teacher, science, technology, engineering, math, and she specialized in the biology side of things. And so looking kind of at it through her eyes and through her lens and being able to say, hey, what's that plant over there? And she comes out with the scientific name immediately. It just ups my appreciation for nature and for the beauty that's out there. And we've been watching a lot more nature shows on TV and things like that. And so just I think my level of appreciation has gone up quite a bit. Uh, I
You know,
probably
that's great because so many times people don't realize that when you just go and spend the day with somebody else or you do something totally different, it helps you, especially if you spend it with somebody that loves nature or is an artist or just does something different. You learn to appreciate things in a different way. So that's amazing, and congratulations for recognizing that. So,
absolutely. So this picture, one of the places we stopped was this place that grows tomatoes in Iceland, and they grow it inside greenhouses. Okay, and so
cool.
here is the row between the tomato plant. There's kind of a close up of some of the tomato plants. This is the guy that was telling us all about this stuff. They actually had like tables set up in a long row. This was like one of the tables,
Oh,
and then
cool.
different kinds of mozzarella and tomatoes that they had there for us to eat on.
And fresh basil.
So it was really interesting to hear that and see that they actually had bees that they kept inside the greenhouse
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
pollinate the tomato plants. That was kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah. I never heard of them doing that, putting bees in your greenhouse.
They actually showed us a hive and whatever, and unfortunately the picture didn't come out very well. You know, I know why it is, but nobody else can look at it. At that same place where they had the greenhouse and everything, they had this whole horse setup, and they talked about the Icelandic horse. I never knew that most horses have four gaits. You know, they got the walk and the trot and the gallop and whatever canter. The Icelandic horse was brought over from Europe in the very early days when they first kind of settled Norway or whatever. And this Icelandic horse has actually been inbred so much that it's developed its own species. And now, if they take an Icelandic horse off of Iceland, it's not allowed to come back in. Okay,
Hmm.
they don't want it, they don't want to mix up the breed. Icelandic horses actually have five gaits.
Oh,
Okay,
really?
yeah, they've got an extra gate, and one of the extra gates is a very smooth gate, 5 feet footprint or something to it. I don't even really know how to explain it. I did want to go ahead. I think hopefully
So did
that
you ride horses when you were there?
no, I did not. That we didn't have enough time. We were actually going on a tour around Iceland, and so we were actually going to different places, and we slept different places every night, type of thing.
Oh, well.
Went
Right.
around the whole coast of Iceland. But I don't know how well this video will play. Let me see if I can play this video.
All
But this
right.
video of the horse going along in this Icelandic gate. And in this Icelandic gate, the rider is holding a stein of beer. Okay. And you can actually see how much beer is being sloshed out with this. And as you can see, it is
A smooth ride.
very smooth ride. It's called the tote. And then I wanted to actually show, whoops, didn't mean to go there quite that fast. I wanted you to kind of zoom in on this part of this picture
Yeah.
and then look at, I got a zoomed in version of it. We said it was the best photo bomb of the trip here.
Horses are so, so funny.
It can be for sure.
My daughter and granddaughter all have so.
Here's another thing that I really appreciated about the trip. Being on the trip with these biology teachers, we saw this bird called the skua. Okay, and we caught, and they were all looking at the bird, wondering what kind of bird it was, all that sort of stuff. And the guide was helping us out, and I actually was photographing it, and it went and jumped from one side to the other side. So this is the same bird, but it caught it in mid-jump, and it was kind of like, oh, that's kind of neat. Then they had harlequin ducks and whooper spawns and Arctic terns and oyster catcher. And I
Arctic tern.
on a chunk of glacier that was actually floating around. We'll get to that. We
The
got the most
puffins.
famous bird of Iceland here, the and I can't remember the name now. What's the
Puffin?
Yeah, the puffin, exactly. So,
They're
and
so dang cute.
in all fairness, I did not take this particular picture. This was done by a professional.
That
Uh,
looks like Grandpa Puffin, doesn't it?
no, those are all,
Ice.
that's not ice. Those are worms. Those are worms that they've caught. The worms to go feed his flock or whatever.
Those are some great shots. Looks like fun.
That's basically the pictures that I have available right here, right now. I've got probably 1,000 more. You know how you take a ton of pictures anymore.
Was deleting some photos, and I was telling a friends, they're like, "Well, how many photos do you have on your camera, on your phone camera?" I'm like, I have over 64,000. So yeah, I get it. I totally understand, and I probably took another 100 or 500 photos yesterday.
So yeah, I have a bunch. This was kind of like part one of the thing, and I was going to do a part two where I went on to the geology and showed a lot more of the waterfalls and stuff like that. Never did get that part put together. So
Well, when you do, be sure to share them on our site. Create a video and put it on here. We'd love to see it.
when I did get back, I did put a bunch of pictures on my Facebook account. And so if people want to connect with me on Facebook, they can do that. And I can probably find the link that kind of goes to the first one. And so they're kind of broken up by days, day one through day seven and whatever. And some of the days have two or three sections, and some of the days have, I think, five or six. So just depends on how many stops we made along the way and how many pictures I took, type of thing. So.
Oh, well, I appreciate these photos. We'll have to have you come back on then and share all the videos of your waterfalls and stuff. So, what was the favorite part of your trip?
Um, for me, the favorite part was just seeing the waterfalls. They were just so magnificent. There's just something about waterfalls that kind of appeals to my nature anyway. And we were there in June, and so it was summertime, degrees Fahrenheit, and it was a heat wave for them. So,
But that's decent weather. It all depends on where you're at and like what, humidity levels and different things are. Well, that's very cool. Did you feel like you were closer to God? Did it help you feel more grounded?
yeah, it felt like a very spiritual journey all the way through. We're on a bus with 12 other people or whatever, traveling around Iceland. It was just so relaxing and so natural. Now, there was one time that we stopped and we actually had a couple hours at the hotel before dinner, and we zonked out. It was actually one of the few places in Iceland that actually had air conditioning. We woke up and the rain was coming down. And I mean, it was coming down hard. And we could just see these streams of water just falling off the roof of the motel. That was kind of a neat experience. It was nice to just be there, not worry about stuff, and just experience God and experience
Dale,
a completely different situation type of thing. Yes, Lori.
Dale, we're so excited you're here and you've been sharing these visuals. I'm very visual myself, and it was kind of like watching a National Geographic documentary here. So
It was. I loved it.
And then I want to say that other people watching live in our community are also grateful, and they are appreciating these pictures too. Aika, she's German, so she appreciates the horse, the smooth ride, and also Chidinma. I want to say hello to Lori Harding, and Olivia Smith was with us for a little bit there. And I love our community. We call them creators, we call them coaches, and also warriors. Warriors because they have already shown resiliency in moments of adversity in their lives. You went through a divorce yourself. You're a coach now. And this is a question I repeatedly ask to our guests. Every guest that comes, because this is Tammy's and my mission and intention for this community and for the events we are promoting and preparing, how important it is to get away, to disconnect from your hustle and bustle, to reconnect with nature, deity. You went with your wife, your new bride. How important is this for these warriors, these coaches and caretakers we have in this community? Because I know our community, the prevalence is heart-centered people that like to give and take care of others, but then they go through burnout and overwhelm. How can you say that trip that pause in your life helped you?
It helps you in so many different ways. Just being able to just take a few days and just be yourself and not have to put on the act, not have to serve others, because you're around the people you serve all the time. There is something about restoration that just restores the soul. It's just, it is incredible. Every person that I coach, one of the things we get into is how much margin do you have in your life? Okay. Margin is a very important concept, and margin is not just on a day by day, but also a week by week, month by month, year by year type thing. Are you taking time to step back and to step into your relationships and understand how you are wired yourself? One of the things I coach around is just your whole identity, how God created you. It really comes down to you really have to put some time and effort into protecting that margin so that you don't get overwhelmed. Because when you get overwhelmed, you're not making the right decisions. You're not doing the best job that you can do for your others or for yourself or for God, as far as that goes.
Again, I always went on my little getaways since having all the kids, being a housewife, stay-at-home mom, etc. And then as a professional, I've wanted purposefully to go to these trips for personal development, to meet new people, and it's truly restorative, like you said. And it's an investment. It's an investment on your sanity. We need to restore and reset and recalibrate also, so to speak, because we come back a better person, new perspectives, new admiration and inspiration about life and God's creation. And so thank you for sharing that.
And I love the fact that you mentioned the waterfalls. Yesterday, I took the day off. I had worked on the weekend except for church on Sunday and stuff. But we spent the entire day looking at waterfalls because of the rain and the time of year. There was waterfalls falling at places that I didn't realize there was even waterfalls, and because we were taking some friends to this huge waterfall that most people don't even know exists in our area. And it was absolutely breathtaking. That's the reason we've designed our retreats and stuff around water. And people don't realize, because water, there's just something about, the oceans, lakes, waterfalls, streams, that trickles or the sounds. I don't know. It's just so refreshing and relaxing. And it sounds like you felt the same with the waterfalls you saw.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's really amazing. The first few waterfalls I saw, it was like they're big, they're awesome, they're, several 100 feet high, all that sort of stuff. We could get real close and all that sort of stuff. The more we went through the journey in Iceland, it was like the waterfalls just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Some of them are so big and so powerful. There's one waterfall in Iceland that is the most powerful waterfall in all of Europe.
Oh, wow. We have to have you come back on just to share this slide. I mean, I'm ready to go to Iceland. I don't know about you, Laurie.
Definitely. And Dale, this is so interesting because you're a coach and you probably have like a method or a philosophy or something behind your coaching. And notice that we didn't invite you here to share that. Well, I'm sure you're great at it. We liked these stories. These stories are the ones that touch people's lives and that spark some new energy in people's lives, our community, etc. So we want to spark that in others, spark the adventurous spirit for you to discover, experience, and transform. And that is our goal here. And you've done that very well here with us today, Dale.
Was there anything else you would like to share today?
No, not really. I mean, it's just I'm here to serve you guys and to do whatever makes sense for your audience here. So, and
So,
hopefully those pictures will inspire them and make them consider, okay, what maybe do I need to do differently for me? Right? It's not maybe necessarily about going to Iceland, but maybe just like Tammy, there's this waterfall in the neighborhood and I'm going to take some visitors there and I'm just going to appreciate it again, type of thing. So
Yeah, and it's something as simple as maybe take somewhere a few more minutes longer in your bathtub, in your shower, like just feeling that intentionally, feeling that restorative energy, that cleanse going through your body. I mean, sometimes people don't even consciously shower, as silly as that sounds. It's just like in and out because of the craziness of life. And you can create that experience in, with your vision, right? Visualization from your own home. So small steps like that to then take the leaps, of faith and very more bold and drastic decisions. But small decisions like that make a big difference.
What's
So
funny is you're mentioning that, Lori, and I was recording a video, an art video on Saturday, which will be one of the lessons that we'll be teaching during our retreat as well. It's about, stop looking at your watches, tracking your time, how many steps you take. Start enjoying nature, start taking notice of what's around you in your surroundings. As you know, we've done that kind of class, and that's what I want people to realize is what's there, what's available, how to take even better photos so you capture those moments even better. There's just like so many simple things that a lot of people don't realize, and if we can help them, that's our goal. And kind of like Dale said, if we can help you with this, with his photos that he shared, I mean, they're wonderful. And I think everybody here is agreeing, hey, we all want Dale back just to share his videos on the waterfalls. I mean, it sounds amazing. And because there's just like so much beauty that God has created around us. It's like, let's use nature. It's so healing and it's so powerful.
And that's our goal here, for you to unlock that freedom of being, I don't know, strapped or in this chains of just the routine, the dull routine of your daily life. And that's what we want you to think about. That's what we want you to unlock. Freedom in nature, in the outdoors. And we appreciate you being here, Dale. I love that, Tammy. Stop looking at your watches. I've never, don't judge me, and I'm not passing any judgment. It's just very interesting. I agree with you, Tammy. I don't have a Fitbit. I don't have a watch. I don't want to have anything on me that will tie me up to, I don't know, messages and stuff. I just have my phone around, and when I get to it, I get to it. But yeah, I love what you said. Instead of counting steps, if that's what you need for accountability or to measure your progress, great. But we invite you to take those steps and maybe count birds, count animals that you see, count branches, count logs, count, your steps in nature, because it's a beautiful experience for you to
Well, and I
do.
love the fact that, Dale, you took the time to take photos of the different plants, the different flowers, the different birds, because a lot of times people don't notice that. Yesterday, we got the privilege of seeing, I was teasing my grandkids and saying, oh, we're going to go grizzly bear hunting today. We saw two black bears, and we saw herons and deer. We didn't run into any moose, and bald eagles and golden eagles. So we saw a lot of variety, but we were trying to take pictures of the different flowers that were blooming now, So it's like you said, it's those little things that a lot of times people don't take notice. Or we sat down on one part of the river and we were looking at the different formations of the rocks because there was such a variety. Or when we're looking over the waterfalls, my friend and I hiked down to the bottom of the waterfalls and looking at all the moss. And, it's just, there's so many little things. It's okay to have that watch on, but don't look at those steps until you get back. If you really have to count your steps, but because you're going to get so much more out of it when you're just enjoying it and you're forgetting about all the rest of the stress of the world. You're just taking in what is like that day off that God's giving, that gift that God's giving you, just to relax and to enjoy.
yeah.
Carrie's saying here in a comment, I threw out the Fitbit. I got my daily steps within the first couple of hours, and the vibrations from the texting drove me drove me nuts. I just couldn't do it. Good for you, Carrie. Good for you. I mean, it's okay to try certain things, and it works again to measure. We talk about SMART goals and part of goals is measuring, but at the same time, that can be measured in a different way. I don't know. And for the people that need it, that's fine. But yeah, it's an invitation for you to count something different this week, maybe.
I have a thought that might plug in here. John Mark Cromer wrote a book called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And in that book, he talks about what was the speed of God. Okay, well, Jesus was God on planet, right? And when Jesus lived, the speed of God was about 3 miles an hour because he walked everywhere, right? Okay, and so if you're going any faster than 3 miles an hour, you're maybe going ahead of God. And so, it's an interesting concept, but it really does
It
make
is.
you slow down and pay attention to the things around you and especially the people around you.
Very, very true. And Ike has a question here. Or a statement. It is difficult, I think, for people living in city environments to have the same appreciation for nature, as it is not necessary as abundant as it is for those who live more in suburban areas. We are inviting people, our retreats and stuff are for people to come into nature areas. So people can experience this a little bit more.
Go ahead, Lori.
Sorry, I think Carrie also said, or someone commented, that it's so good to be in the moment, right? Like you said, Dale, like we
Yes.
asked you, what else do you have for us? And you said, I was just there in Iceland, living in the moment, being present. And while you can be taking pictures, it's okay. Sometimes I know this is going to be hard for you, Tammy and Dale, because you like to take pictures.
Hey,
But
I do take my phone and I do take photos, but I also sit down and just
yes,
enjoy it as
at
well.
some moments, yes, we want to preserve those memories. It's part of you being an artist too, and me, I can speak for myself too. But then also, yeah, dropping it down and just, taking those captions in your memory, in your heart, so you can be present and appreciate those things in the moment. There's a time for everything.
We went with good friends and she loves to take photos just like me. And our husbands were both very patient, we're like, stop the car. We have to get this view. We have to get this flower photo, because I wanted some close-ups and some different things. And so that was fun. Her husband took his shoes off and put his feet in the water. We just sat there and just enjoyed the sun and the sounds. So we had a picnic and everything. So it was a relaxing day. We weren't rushed. We didn't plan anything. We just said, okay, this is kind of where we're going. This is what we're doing. But if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. This is, like I said, we were planning on hiking to a higher lake. But instead we just saw all these different waterfalls because we got stopped by snow. There was a couple feet of snow in the parking lot, and we're like, at the trailhead, and we're like, well, I guess we're not going any further today.
But there was enough to see around there. So
Yes.
you made it work. That's awesome. Appreciating what was around you.
But
Time goes by.
had one more
go ahead.
question here. So she said we could do a live session on how to design small terraces or patios with containers and turning them into green spaces. Of course, I have pots on my back deck with pepper plants and cilantro. So besides hanging baskets and flowers, yeah, we could definitely do that sometime.
Thanks for this suggestion. Yeah. Well, time goes by super fast when we're having fun and we're having very enriching conversations like with you, Dale. Thank you for sharing. And we want to tell our audience that we love them and we are here for you. Besides all this, what nature brought in this area was storms and power outages. But regardless of that, I wanted to be here, and now the power's back on. So
I know it's nice having that power back on.
to plug my computer again. So thank you for being here. And we look forward to hear more from you, our community, on how you're enjoying life, enjoying nature, and join us in our trip to Idaho. We have a wonderful retreat and connection adventure planned for North Idaho in Tammy's amazing property and gardens, etc. So please connect, ask us questions on more information. We have links everywhere in our page. We would love to have everyone there. So you take care and we'll see you next time. What do you think?
All right. Thanks, everyone. And make sure you like and share. So have a great week.